My childhood neighbor, Chloe, was the sweet but manipulative type, a real master of the game. Not long ago, my girlfriend Sophia's first love, Leo, moved back to the States. Around the same time, Chloe also came back. Her first love would call Sophia, "Soph, I'm sick. I feel awful." And just like that, Sophia would drop everything, including me, and leave. Then Chloe would call me, "Ethan, my stomach hurts so much," and I'd immediately rush over to her. I never expected Sophia and I would end up at the same hospital. Later, at a party, Leo slipped and fell right into Sophia's arms. Moments after, Chloe slipped and fell right into mine. Sophia, furious, shoved Leo aside and lunged at Chloe like she'd lost her mind. "You manipulative little bitch. I've had enough of you." Chloe's face went pale as she ducked behind me. "Ethan, look at her. She's so scary." I shielded Chloe with my body and yelled at Sophia, "Stop making a scene." Today was my birthday, and Sophia, who had been swamped with work for half a month, finally had time for a candlelight dinner with me. When she looked down at her phone for the 10th time, I couldn't stop myself from asking, "Sophia, who are you texting?" She smiled and said, "Leo." I froze, biting my lip. "Sophia, we're on a date, and you're texting Leo." Seeing the look on my face, Sophia put her phone down. Okay, I'll stop. Don't be mad." I tried to push down my annoyance and change the subject, telling her about things that had happened recently. Her phone buzzed once, then again, and on the third buzz, she couldn't resist. She picked it up, a smile spreading across her face as she typed a reply. When she was done, she looked up at me. "What were you just saying?" My enthusiasm was gone. "Nothing. Let's just eat." Sophia went back to her food, eating with one hand while texting with the other. My appetite vanished. I put down my fork and said, "I'm full. Why don't you just go be with your precious Leo?" Sophia looked up, her brow furrowed. "What? Do you think we're sexting or something? You're always so suspicious. Here, see for yourself how innocent it is." She handed me her phone, showing me their iMessage history. I glanced down. They weren't sexting. They were talking about me. Leo was asking for a play-by-play of our date, and Sophia was giving it to him in excruciating detail, describing how happy I seemed, how I was acting, everything I said. Leo's role was to provide commentary. Couldn't believe it. "Sophia, are you live streaming our date to Leo?" Her expression was completely matter-of-fact. "Yes." I shot up from my chair, furious. "This is our date. Why are you telling Leo everything?" Sophia looked taken aback for a second, then frowned. "Because Leo helped me plan it. He's a great guy, and you're making a scene over nothing. Ethan, when are you going to grow up?" In that moment, a chill went through me. I stared at her, stunned. "You mean you didn't plan this date?" "Leo did." Sophia nodded. "I've been too busy." "Leo offered to help. He's the one who picked out your watch and he booked this restaurant. You said you liked it, didn't you?" I quickly glanced at the gift box on the table, exquisitely wrapped and gleaming. It felt like a slap across the face, my cheeks burning with humiliation. My voice trembled as I asked, "Sophia, how could you let someone else pick out my gift?" She just looked at me. "What's the big deal?" Couldn't breathe. She actually asked what the big deal was. Just then, her phone, which I was still holding, rang. The screen lit up with his name, Leo. Sophia snatched it from my hand. "Leo, what's wrong?" I just stared at my empty hand, stunned. "Soph, I think I'm sick. I feel awful." In the quiet restaurant, Leo's voice was perfectly clear. Sophia's tone was instantly filled with concern. "What's wrong? What are your symptoms?" Leo replied, "I don't know. I'm dizzy. I think I have a fever." After the call, Sophia looked at me, her expression troubled. "Ethan, Leo's sick. He just got back to Chicago and doesn't know his way around. I need to take him to the hospital." I grabbed her arm. "It's my birthday. You promised you'd have dinner with me." She tried to placate me. "Come on, be good. You just said you were full, right?" Sophia pulled her arm free from my grasp and hurried away. I just stood there, watching her go, feeling like a giant chasm had opened up in my chest. I looked down at the half-eaten dinner on the table, feeling utterly alone. I got up to leave. The waiter hurried after me. "Sir, excuse me." I turned, confused. "What is it?" He said, "Sir, you haven't paid the bill yet." For a second, I couldn't even begin to describe the feeling that washed over me. After paying, I practically ran out of the restaurant, a fire of anger and humiliation burning in my chest. The cool night air hit me, and I started shivering uncontrollably. Ever since Leo came back 6 months ago, my relationship with Sophia had become strained. He was her first love, the one that got away. When Sophia was with me, all it took was one phone call from Leo to pull her away. He would often run into us on our dates, and he and Sophia would laugh and joke around while I trailed behind them like a third wheel. Over time, the resentment started to build. I started fighting with Sophia about him more and more, but she always accused me of being unreasonable. After what happened tonight, I just felt exhausted. My phone rang. I pulled it out and saw the name on the screen, Chloe Anderson. Chloe was my old neighbor, 2 years younger than me. She had moved abroad for high school, and we hadn't seen each other in years. The day before yesterday, she somehow got my number and called me out of the blue, saying she was back in the States and asking if I could pick her up from the airport. It felt a bit sudden, and I was busy, so I politely declined. Now, tonight, she was calling again. I hesitated for a moment before answering. "Hello, Ethan," she said, her voice clear and pleasant. "Chloe, what's wrong?" "Ethan, my stomach hurts. Is it bad? You should get to a hospital. But I just got back to Chicago 2 days ago. I don't know the city at all. I have no idea where the hospital is. Ethan, I don't know anyone else here. You're the only one." That line sounded strangely familiar. Took me a second to realize it was almost the exact same thing Leo had said. He had claimed he didn't know anyone else in the city besides Sophia, so she was the only one he could turn to, and he hoped I wouldn't get the wrong idea. Sophia had backed him up, saying he had no other friends, which was why she had to be there for him. I was quiet for a moment, then said, "Chloe, if it's really that bad, you can call an Uber to the ER." Chloe's voice was thick with tears. "Ethan, it hurts so much I can't even walk. Can you please take me to the hospital?" "Well," I started. "You're the only person I know here, Ethan. You didn't have time for me when I got back. Are you going to turn me away again now?" She sounded like she was about to fall apart. A wave of guilt washed over me. "Okay, hang on. I'm on my way." Chloe's parents had died in an accident years ago, and she'd cut ties with her other relatives over inheritance disputes. She didn't really have friends. It wasn't a lie that she only knew me here. I'd already blown her off when she arrived, and now I was about to refuse to take her to the hospital. My conscience pricked at me. I couldn't just leave her like this. I had to go help. When I got to her hotel, the door to her room was ajar. I stepped inside and called out softly, "Chloe!" A muffled voice came from the bed. "Ethan, I'm here." I looked over as a lump under the covers shifted, and a familiar, breathtakingly beautiful face peeked out. My breath caught in my throat. Her skin was porcelain white. Her long hair cascaded over her shoulders, and her eyes were a clear, deep blue. She had a high-nosed bridge and full, red lips, a combination of youth, beauty, and an almost childlike innocence. She had been pretty back then, but years away had transformed her into someone stunning, like a delicate porcelain doll. "Ethan," Chloe said, her voice thick and nasal, tinged with misery. That look on her face was devastating. My heart melted on the spot. "Does it still hurt?" I asked, rushing to her side. Chloe looked up at me pitifully. "Yes. Come on," I said. "Let's get you to the hospital." She nodded obediently. "Okay." As we were about to leave, she draped her jacket over my shoulders. "Ethan, it's gotten colder. It's chilly out. I don't want you to get sick." A warmth spread through my chest, and my affection for her grew instantly. Sophia never noticed if I was cold, but Chloe did. I helped her up, and we headed to the nearest major hospital, Northwestern Memorial. Chloe seemed to be in a lot of pain, leaning heavily against me the entire way. She had the face of a doll, but her figure was anything but. Her body pressing against mine made me tense up immediately. We were so close I could feel the heat of her body through her clothes, a warmth that traveled from my shoulder and hand straight to my core. It was like a spark hitting dry tinder, leaving me flustered and my mouth dry. Chloe must have sensed my discomfort, because she whispered, "Ethan, it's okay. You don't have to hold me up." She bravely straightened up, her frail body pulling away from my shoulder. I instantly felt more at ease and let out a quiet breath. Just then, a cool breeze swept past, and Chloe, dressed in only a thin layer, wrapped her arms around herself. "Ethan, I can walk on my own," she said between coughs. "I'm fine." She coughed again, harder this time, a faint blush rising on her pale cheeks. Her bright blue eyes glistened with unshed tears. I was immediately consumed by guilt. "Here, put this on," I said, taking off my jacket and offering it to her. Chloe shook her head. "I'm not cold, Ethan. You should wear it." She said this even as she was visibly shivering. She had an amazing figure, tall and curvy in all the right places. But her doll-like face and her pitiful expression completely overshadowed any sex appeal. I was suddenly reminded of how I used to find her crying by herself in the hallway of our old apartment building, looking so weak, lonely, and helpless. The image of her then merged with the girl standing before me now. A wave of sympathy washed over me. "Put it on," I insisted. "You're already sick. You can't afford to catch a cold." She shook her head again. "You wear it, Ethan. I'm fine." I sighed in resignation. Then we'll share it. Chloe looked up at me, her eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and happiness. Really, Ethan? Is that okay? I nodded. Yeah. She hesitated for a second before whispering, Thank you, Ethan. She took the jacket, draped it over her shoulders, and then held one side open for me to huddle in with her. Under the jacket, I was enveloped in her warmth and a faint, sweet scent of perfume. Do you wear perfume? I asked casually. Her body tensed. What's wrong, Ethan? You don't like it? I just shrugged. It's fine. I used to have this idea that girls who wore perfume were trouble. That was back in high school, though. After joining the workforce, I'd seen enough of the world to know better. We walked the rest of the way huddled together, arriving at the hospital just after 9. At this hour, our only option was the emergency room. I led Chloe into the ER waiting area, and the first thing I saw was Sophia at the nurse's station holding up Leo. She was talking to a nurse, her face etched with worry. I stopped in my tracks. What were they doing here? Chloe looked at me, confused. Ethan, what is it? I shook my head. It's nothing. I calmly walked Chloe over to the counter. Excuse me, nurse, we need to see a doctor. A nurse who wasn't busy looked up. What are the symptoms? Stomach pain, I said. From beside me, I heard Sophia's shocked voice. Ethan, what are you doing here? I looked up. Sophia's eyes darted between me and Chloe. Suddenly, she let go of a pale-looking Leo and strode towards us, demanding, Who is she? Why are you two together? Her face was dark with an anger I rarely saw. I froze for a second, then looked down and realized Chloe and I were still sharing my jacket, huddled close. It was a bit awkward. I stepped away from her and said calmly, Let me introduce you. This is my friend, Chloe Anderson. Sophia gave Chloe a long, hard look, then turned back to me. Friend? I've never heard you mention a friend named Chloe. She was my neighbor growing up, I explained. She moved abroad a few years ago and just got back. Chloe offered Sophia a polite, weak smile. Hello. Sophia's gaze was icy. A childhood neighbor. So, basically a stranger. What are you two doing together this late? I almost laughed out of sheer anger. She was here with Leo and had the audacity to question me? Chloe leaned in and whispered, Ethan, who is she? She seems really mean. Sophia's face contorted with rage. What the hell is with that innocent act? Chloe flinched and looked down at the floor, not saying a word. She looked so pitiful it made my heart ache. I couldn't hold back my anger any longer. Sophia, Chloe is sick. Why are you yelling at her? Sophia's eyes widened in disbelief as she pointed at herself. I'm yelling at her? Ethan, look at me. I'm your girlfriend. You two walk in here all cozy, and I'm not allowed to ask what's going on. The nurse at the counter suddenly seemed very interested in our conversation. Chloe looked up, her face a mask of surprise. Oh, are you two a couple? She took my hand and said softly, Ethan, please don't fight because of me. Then she turned to Sophia. Ma'am, you can be mad at me, but please don't be mad at Ethan. I'm sick and I don't know anyone else here, so I had to call him. He was just being kind by bringing me to the hospital. There's nothing going on between us. If I had known this would cause a fight, I never would have called him. Please, don't let this affect your relationship. I lifted my chin. Did you hear that? Sophia was speechless, her mouth opening and closing. She looked frustrated but couldn't find a comeback. Leo, who had been watching from a nearby chair, got up and walked over, saying weakly, Ethan, please don't be mad. Sophia was just worried about me, that's why she brought me here. There's nothing going on. Please don't get the wrong idea. If I'd known it would cause a fight, I never would have called her. The mood suddenly felt very strange. For the first time, I saw Sophia look at Leo with a critical, questioning expression. Leo, completely oblivious, stepped in front of me and continued his act. Ethan, it's all my fault for getting sick. If you're going to be angry at anyone, be angry at me. Just don't fight with Sophia. In the past, I would have lost my cool and argued with him, but with Chloe here supporting me, I felt surprisingly calm. I said coldly, We're not fighting because of you. Don't flatter yourself. Leo was left standing there, awkwardly unsure of what to say. Chloe coughed lightly beside me and said softly, Ma'am, it's all my fault. If I hadn't gotten sick, Ethan wouldn't have brought me here, and you two wouldn't have run into each other and started fighting. If you're angry, you can just yell at me. Sophia exploded. This is between me and Ethan. Who the hell are you to say anything? Don't think I can't see right through your little act. At that, Leo's expression froze. I glanced at Leo, then said to Sophia, You're right, this is between us. It's not for other people to butt in with their manipulative comments. Right, Leo? Sophia froze, probably remembering that Leo had said almost the exact same thing just moments before. I feel so dizzy, Leo suddenly moaned. Just as the tension peaked, Leo clutched his head and swayed on his feet, looking like he was about to collapse. Forgetting our argument, Sophia instinctively reached out to steady him. Are you okay? Leo shook his head, leaning against her shoulder. I'm fine, thanks, sophomore. He shot a quick, unreadable glance in my direction. Seeing them so close, a fresh wave of anger washed over me. Just then, Chloe cried out, clutching her stomach. Ah, Ethan, it hurts so much. How much longer until we can see a doctor? I quickly put my arm around her and turned to the nurse. Can we please finish checking in? I decided to let it go for now. Getting her seen was more important. I'd deal with Sophia later. But when Sophia saw my arm around Chloe, the fury in her eyes intensified. Without a second thought, she rushed over and grabbed me. As she lunged away, Leo, who had been leaning on her, stumbled and nearly hit the floor, a look of pure shock on his face. Sophia yanked me violently to her side, glaring at Chloe. Stop faking it, you manipulative little bitch. Your act is disgusting. Chloe's face was pale, her eyes wide with fear. Ma'am, I don't understand why you hate me so much. Did I do something wrong? Then she turned to me, her voice trembling. Ethan, I ripped my arm out of Sophia's grasp, went back to Chloe's side, and yelled at Sophia. What did Chloe ever do to you? Why are you treating her like this? Are you insane? Sophia was practically jumping up and down with frustration. She's obviously faking it. That made me even angrier. You're the one who's full of it. Chloe bit her lip and looked down. Please, don't fight because of me. Her eyes were red-rimmed, and though she was clearly in pain, she was trying so hard to be brave. I had reached my limit. I roared at Sophia. Can you stop being so damn unreasonable? Chloe can barely walk from the pain, and you're accusing her of faking it. Sophia, you're being completely irrational. Sophia looked utterly stricken, staring at me in disbelief. I'm irrational? Wait a minute. This whole scene felt eerily familiar. Took me a second, but then I remembered. There was a time Leo had called Sophia in the middle of the night, claiming to be sick. I had tried to stop her from going, telling her he was probably faking it. She had called me petty, unreasonable, and irrational. I never imagined that one day, I'd be throwing those exact same words back at her. I ignored Sophia, finished checking in at the desk, and helped Chloe to a bench before rushing to the payment window to finalize the registration. A moment later, Sophia got in line behind me. I heard her voice, tight with anger, from right behind me. What is your relationship with that Chloe girl? I didn't even turn around. I told you, she's like a little sister to me. Sophia wasn't buying it. You two seemed a lot closer than that. Are you sure that's all it is? I took a deep breath and turned to face her. Sophia, you and Leo were practically wrapped around each other a minute ago. You want to talk about close? Sophia tried to explain. He was sick, he almost fainted. I was just helping him stay on his feet. Chloe is sick, I countered. She can barely walk. That's why I was helping her. Sophia opened her mouth, but no words came out. It was my turn, so I stepped up, paid, and hurried away. I ran back to the waiting area and told Chloe, there are only a few people ahead of us. It should be your turn soon. Just hang in there. She gave me a weak smile. Thank you, Ethan. She took my hand. You should sit down and rest for a bit. Don't wear yourself out. A warmth spread through me again. She tilted her head slightly, resting it gently on my shoulder. Sophia returned from the window and saw me sitting with Chloe. She immediately flew into a rage, storming over and yelling, Ethan, do you have any sense of propriety? I'm your girlfriend. Chloe blinked innocently. But ma'am, you were holding that other man just a minute ago. That didn't seem very proper either. Sophia was speechless for a moment, then stammered, Leo is really sick. I was just helping him. Chloe replied, I'm really sick too, and Ethan is just helping me. Besides, you two got here before us, but you checked in after us. That must mean his condition isn't that serious. You said I was faking, but I think he's the one who's faking. Enraged, Sophia shoved Chloe. I'm talking to Ethan. Stay out of it. I shot to my feet and slapped Sophia across the face. Get lost. The sharp crack of the slap echoed in the quiet room. Sophia clutched her cheek, staring at me in shock, her eyes filled with disbelief and hurt. Ethan, you hit me? I said coldly. You're being unreasonable and cruel, and you keep picking on Chloe for no reason. Don't you think you deserved it? Sophia's eyes were locked on mine, her lips trembling. For a second, I felt that sense of déjà vu again. I remembered when Leo had fallen, and Sophia had accused me of pushing him, calling me unreasonable and cruel. Chloe tugged on my sleeve and said softly, Ethan, don't be angry. I'm sure she didn't mean it. Then she turned to Sophia with a sincere expression. Ma'am, you have to believe us. It's not what you think. Please don't get the wrong idea. This only seemed to make Sophia angrier. Leo walked over then, trying to play peacemaker. Ethan, Sophia's been under a lot of stress. How could you hit her? Chloe spoke up. Sir, that's not a fair thing to say. She was yelling at me, and Ethan was just defending me. He wasn't starting a fight. I know you feel bad for her, but you shouldn't try to twist things and make Ethan look bad. Everyone saw what happened. Leo looked shocked. Sir, Chloe nodded. Well, you're older than me, so it seems like the polite thing to call you. Wow, she was so much better at this than I was. Seeing the look on Leo's face, I had to suppress a laugh. Chloe then turned to me. Ethan, the man has a point. She must be exhausted from taking care of him. You shouldn't fight with her over me. Her words reminded me of how Sophia had abandoned me on my birthday to run to Leo's side, and any regret I had about hitting her vanished. I said coldly, Sophia, since you're so exhausted taking care of Leo, why don't you take him and go sit down somewhere, and leave us alone? Sophia quickly tried to backtrack. Ethan, I'm not tired. That's not the point. I just want to talk to you. I turned away from her. There's nothing to talk about. Just then, the overhead speaker called Chloe's name, and I helped her towards the exam room. Sophia followed us. Ethan, but I had already guided Chloe into the room and closed the door. The doctor diagnosed her with a mild case of gastroenteritis. When we left the exam room, I said, you calling Leo sir nearly gave him an aneurysm. That was hilarious. Chloe winked at me. Well, I have to be on your side, Ethan. They were ganging up on you, so of course I was going to help. A feeling of warmth spread through my chest. I was starting to realize that Chloe had a manipulative streak, a lot like Leo, but for some reason, I couldn't bring myself to dislike it. She was always on my side. If she hadn't been there tonight, the moment I saw Sophia and Leo together, I probably would have lost my mind and started a huge fight, making a complete fool of myself. That had happened more than once before, and I always came out looking like the bad guy. But tonight, with Chloe helping me, I kept my cool. A sweet, manipulative girl who was on your team, it was surprisingly hard to resist. So this is what it felt like from Sophia's perspective, having Leo on her side. I was starting to understand why she was always so quick to defend him. I wanted to defend Chloe too. First you question their innocent act, then you start to understand it, and before you know it, you fall for it. After Chloe was discharged, I got an Uber to take her back to her hotel. She asked me to stay and talk for a while, but I knew it wasn't a good idea. I was still technically with Sophia, and I shouldn't be spending the night in another woman's room. Despite her pleading, I made myself leave. As soon as I left the hotel, I called Sophia. I needed to talk to her about us. The call connected, but it was Leo's voice on the other end. Ethan, hey, sorry, you'll have to wait a minute. Sophia's in the shower. She'll call you back. His tone was apologetic, but I could hear the smugness underneath. Leo never cursed or raised his voice. He always spoke in that calm, measured way, but everything he said was calculated to get under my skin. I was shocked. Sophia was taking a shower at Leo's apartment. But surprisingly, I didn't feel a surge of anger. Maybe I had been expecting it for so long that now that it was actually happening, I just felt numb. Leo hung up. Sir, are you getting in? I snapped out of my daze and realized my Uber had been waiting for me. I got in the car. Since Sophia and Leo were sleeping together, it was time to break up. I hadn't had many relationships, and Sophia was the longest and the one I had invested the most in. Her cheating on me should have made me furious and heartbroken. I don't know if it's like this for everyone, but for me, being in love makes my emotions go all over the place. As I thought about our history together, the anger and jealousy and sadness started to bubble up again. I wanted to march right back over there and confront her. I pulled out my phone to call her, but just then, a notification popped up with a different name, Chloe Anderson. I answered, annoyed. What is it? It was Chloe. Ethan, are you home yet? Not yet. Are you and that woman, Sophia, having problems? No. Ethan, if you're ever upset, you should talk about it. Don't keep it all bottled up. No matter what happens, I'll always be on your side. Thanks, Chloe. Talk to you later. I was about to hang up and call Sophia, but then Chloe said, oh, and Ethan? Happy birthday. I froze. What? Chloe's voice became small. Did I get the date wrong? I'm so sorry. I quickly recovered from my shock. No, you got it right. It's amazing you remembered after all this time. Couldn't believe it. Chloe had been gone for 8 years, and she still remembered my birthday. It felt like my heart had been pulled out of ice water and plunged into a warm bath. I could hear the smile in her voice. Ethan, check your bag. I opened my messenger bag and found a beautifully wrapped box inside. I had no idea when she could have slipped it in there, I carefully opened the box. Inside, nestled on a velvet cushion, was a stunning gold watch. It was a Patek Philippe. Every detail was flawless. It was breathtaking. I held it in my hand, completely in awe. The jewels on it were large and heavy. I figured they couldn't be real. If they were, it would cost a fortune. They were probably just cubic zirconia or something. But even if they were fake, in that moment I absolutely loved it. I was genuinely touched. "Thank you, Chloe. This is the best birthday present I've gotten this year." "I'm glad you like it," she said. "I'm so sorry for troubling you on your birthday and making you upset." She sounded genuinely sad, like she was blaming herself. No, I said quickly. "It had nothing to do with you." Chloe said, "I feel like I ruined things between you and Sophia. It's all my fault." "Ethan, will I still be able to see you? I caused that fight today. Maybe I should just leave Chicago and stop bothering you and your girlfriend." "No," I said immediately. "Stay, please. What happened tonight wasn't your fault. I normally don't like to air my dirty laundry, especially to people I barely know anymore. But Chloe had remembered my birthday, gotten me a gift, and was now blaming herself and threatening to leave. She was so kind and sweet. I couldn't let her feel guilty, so I ended up telling her everything that had happened that night. When I finished, Chloe sighed. "Ethan, that's all Sophia's fault. It has nothing to do with you. You're such a great guy, and she clearly doesn't appreciate you. Any other woman would be thrilled to be with you and would never want to let you go." A warmth spread through me. "Really? Of course," she said. I ended up talking to her for the entire ride home. It wasn't until I was standing in my apartment that I remembered I had forgotten to call Sophia. The intense anger from before had faded, and I no longer had the energy for a confrontation. I decided to just let it go. I turned off my phone, got ready for bed, and went to sleep. The next morning, I turned my phone on to a dozen missed calls from Sophia and a flood of iMessages. She was demanding to know why my phone was off, asking if I was with Chloe, and then apologizing for leaving me on my birthday and promising to make it up to me. Seeing her apologies, I felt a strange sense of detachment. For our entire relationship, I had been the insecure one, the one constantly calling and texting her. Now the roles were reversed. I couldn't quite describe the feeling. The power dynamic had shifted, something I had wanted for a long time, but it didn't bring the satisfaction I thought it would. It was almost as if I didn't care anymore. I sent a single text back, "We're done." Then I got ready and left for work. In the elevator at my office building, I ran into Sophia. She quickly squeezed in next to me and whispered, "Ethan, I'm so sorry about last night. Please, let's not break up." My phone buzzed. I pulled it out and saw a message from Chloe with a cute emoji. "Good morning." I couldn't help but smile as I typed back, "Morning." She replied instantly, "At work already?" "Yep," I texted back. After sending the message, I looked up at Sophia. "Sorry, what were you saying?" Sophia just stared at me, silent. After a moment of silence, she said quietly, "Nothing. This is my floor." Sophia and I worked in the same building but for different companies, and her floor was below mine. "Okay," I said. I didn't look up from my phone, continuing my conversation with Chloe. That evening, as I was leaving the office, I saw Sophia standing by the main entrance. That was a first. She was a senior executive, a real corporate powerhouse. I was always the one waiting for her. Now she was waiting for me, but I felt nothing. Maybe once upon a time this would have thrilled me, but not anymore. When she saw me, her face lit up and she waved. "Ethan, come on, I booked a table at that great new restaurant. Let's go tonight." I sidestepped her and walked past, heading for the parking garage. "I'm busy." Sophia grabbed my arm, her voice urgent. "Ethan, please, let's just talk. Even if you want to break up, don't I at least deserve a chance to talk it through? You can't just end things with a single text message." "I don't accept it. I'm not ready to give up. Can't you just give me one more chance?" People were walking past us, casting curious glances our way. Sophia held onto my hand tightly, her voice a low plea. I had rarely seen her so humble. With me, she had always been cool and aloof, especially after Leo came back into the picture. Lately, she'd been nothing but impatient with me. I honestly thought she'd be happy to break up so she could be with Leo. I never expected her to beg me to stay. It was surprising. I thought about it for a moment, then nodded. "Fine, let's talk." Sophia let out a breath of relief. She got into my car, and I drove to the restaurant she'd booked. It was the middle of rush hour, and traffic was terrible. As I drove, she kept trying to make small talk, desperately searching for topics. I remembered how I used to be the one doing that, trying to fill the silence. Now the roles were reversed and it felt strange. There was a time when we could talk for hours. I wanted to share every little thing with her, and I was fascinated by everything she had to say. Now I just felt numb. My phone buzzed. "Ethan, Are you done with work? It was Chloe. Yeah, just finished. Are you free to get some dinner? Sorry, I have plans tonight. With who? Sophia. Oh, so you two made up? Not exactly. The car came to a sudden stop in traffic. I looked up from my phone. What's wrong? Sophia's expression was tight. Who are you texting? Chloe, I said. Sophia's lips trembled slightly. Oh, what are you talking about? I didn't bother looking up from my phone as I typed back to Chloe. Nothing. Sophia didn't say another word for the rest of the drive. The restaurant was beautiful. In the past, I would have been thrilled. Now I felt nothing. We sat across from each other, and Sophia immediately launched into an apology, saying she never should have left me on my birthday and that she didn't want to break up. I cut her off. You slept with Leo. Why wouldn't we break up? Sophia looked shocked. I didn't. I called you last night, I said. Leo answered. He said you were in the shower. Sophia quickly explained. I took him home, and he offered me a glass of water, but he accidentally spilled it on me. That's the only reason I showered there. I left right after. Sophia continued to explain what had happened between her and Leo. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out. It was Chloe. Ethan, I'm so hungry. I texted back. Then you should eat something. Chloe, I don't have an appetite for anything. Have you eaten yet, Ethan? Me, I'm eating right now. Chloe, what are you having? I glanced at the food on the table and sent her a picture. This. Chloe, what is all that? It looks amazing. I listed off the names of the dishes I could remember. We were in the middle of our conversation when the phone was suddenly snatched from my hand. I looked up. Sophia's face was a mask of fury. I am talking to you, and you're sitting here texting another woman. I frowned and held out my hand. Give me back my phone. Sophia stared at my face for a moment, then handed the phone back, a hurt expression on her face. I took it, finished my message to Chloe, and hit send. Only then did I look back at Sophia. I seem to recall that just last night, you were happily texting Leo throughout our entire date, giving him a live commentary. Sophia opened her mouth, then whispered, I'm sorry. I shook my head. You don't have to apologize. In fact, if you want, you can text Leo right now. I promise I won't get mad. You can talk to your person and I'll talk to mine. It's perfectly fair. Sophia looked down for a moment. When she looked back up, her eyes were red. I'm sorry. I'm only just now realizing how you must have felt. I'm so sorry I hurt you. She kept apologizing, and honestly, it was starting to get on my nerves. There was a time I would have given anything to hear her say she was sorry. But I had waited too long, and that desire had long since withered and died. No matter how sincere she sounded now, it didn't move me at all. My phone buzzed again. It was Chloe. Ethan, I want some of that too. I replied, okay, come on over. It's my treat. Chloe, what? Really? Is that okay? Won't I be interrupting you and Sophia? Me, it's fine. I sent Chloe the address, and she said she'd be there in 15 minutes. I looked up at Sophia. Sorry, what were you saying just now? Could you repeat it? Sophia, who had been pouring her heart out, just stared at me, her eyes filled with hurt. She started apologizing all over again. I was tired of hearing it. I stood up. Let's just end it here. I'm leaving. You can finish your meal. And with that, I walked out. I heard Sophia call after me. Ethan, I don't agree to this breakup. I let out a deep sigh. People say they can't understand the person they used to be. I couldn't even understand the person I was yesterday, the one who was so heartbroken and jealous over Sophia. I used to be terrified of losing her, terrified that Leo would take her from me. I was a nervous wreck, losing sleep over it. I never imagined I would be the one to end it. And now that I had, I felt absolutely no regret. I left the restaurant and went downstairs to wait. A few minutes later, a slender figure in a pale dress appeared at the entrance. When Chloe walked into the lobby, it was like a spotlight had suddenly turned on. Every head in the room turned to look at her. She was absolutely stunning. I didn't call out to her right away. I just watched her. She wasn't smiling. Her expression was neutral, her gaze cool and elegant. I realized then that when she wasn't putting on an act, her beautiful face had the remote, untouchable quality of a goddess. She gave off an unapproachable vibe. She scanned the lobby, and when her eyes landed on me, her entire face broke into a radiant smile. In that instant, it was like watching a time-lapse of a flower blooming in seconds. Her legs were long, and it only took her a few strides to reach me. She leaned in with a smile. Ethan, I'm here. I stood up from the couch, smiling back. Come on, let's go get you something good to eat. We were laughing and talking as we headed upstairs. Just as we reached the restaurant entrance, Sophia was walking out, looking completely lost. When she saw us, her eyes widened. You too. Chloe put on her most innocent face. Sophia, I heard you and Ethan were having dinner here. Is it okay if I join you? Sophia was taken aback. Chloe continued her sweet act. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just happened to be in the neighborhood. If you'd rather I didn't, I can just go. I took Chloe's arm. Don't worry about her. I'll take you somewhere else. Chloe looked from me to Sophia, her eyes wide with surprise. Oh no, I couldn't let you do that. I'm so sorry for interrupting your dinner. We should all just eat together. And with that, she took my hand, then took the hand of a completely bewildered Sophia, and led us both back into the restaurant. And so, the three of us ended up having dinner together. I tried to give Sophia a look that said, you should leave, but for whatever reason, she stayed. I figured, whatever, it's just one meal. I decided to just let it be. Chloe placed a piece of salmon on my plate. Here, Ethan, your favorite. I was surprised. You remember what I like to eat? Chloe winked at me. Of course, we grew up together. I remember everything you like. She continued to put more food on my plate. Chloe was so attentive and I happily ate while we talked. We had been apart for so long and had so many different experiences that we had no shortage of things to talk about. Sophia tried to jump in a few times. Ethan, this is really good. Ethan, do you need more lemon? Ethan, have you seen that new movie? I would give her a polite, brief answer and then immediately turn my attention back to Chloe. Eventually, Sophia gave up trying to join the conversation and just ate by herself in silence. Seeing her sitting there all alone, I was reminded of myself. After Leo came back, he was always around Sophia. So many of our dates turned into the three of us hanging out. He and Sophia had grown up together, and they could talk for hours about their childhood, an endless stream of inside jokes and shared memories. I could never get a word in, so I would just sit there in silence. Now the tables had turned. If we were still together, I would have noticed that I was ignoring her and would have stopped talking to Chloe to include her. But we had broken up. Why should I care about her feelings? She certainly never cared about mine. After dinner, as we were leaving, Sophia finally snapped. She ran up and grabbed my arm. Ethan, did you bring this woman here just to piss me off? Her voice was shaking with rage, and she looked at Chloe with pure hatred. I was taken aback for a second, then I pulled my arm away. Sophia, don't flatter yourself. Sophia's eyes were red. She pointed a trembling finger at Chloe. Ever since she showed up, you've been ignoring me, treating me like I don't exist. I frowned. And how have you been treating me since Leo showed up? A strange, almost triumphant look came over Sophia's face. Haha, so that's what this is. You're trying to get revenge on me. She seemed pleased with this realization. She straightened her dress and turned to Chloe. Did Ethan pay you to pretend to be his girlfriend? Whatever he's paying you, I'll double it. Now get lost. Chloe looked from Sophia to me, her face a picture of confusion. Ethan, I stepped in front of Chloe, facing Sophia. I would never do something like that, Sophia. Now stop this nonsense. Sophia said desperately, Ethan, if Leo is the problem, I'll stop seeing him. I promise. I replied coldly, I really don't care what you do. With that, I took Chloe's hand and walked away. When we got downstairs, Chloe asked cautiously, Ethan, are we just going to leave like that? Won't Sophia be upset? I snorted. Why should I care if she's upset? Chloe sighed. I was just having dinner with you. I didn't think it would cause so much drama. Ethan, can I still have dinner with you again sometime? She looked up at me with wide, hopeful eyes. Of course, I said. Chloe beamed. That's great. You know, there's nothing going on between us, but Sophia is always so suspicious. Sigh. Ethan, there's something I want to say, but I don't know if I should. Just say it, I told her. Chloe hesitated. I just think Sophia is a little intense. She's not very nice to you, and she has such a temper. I worry she might get violent someday. I was taken aback. Chloe continued. And she's so shady with that other guy, with no regard for your feelings. She's just not the right person for you. But maybe it's not my place to say. If I'm upsetting you, I'll stop. Is this what they're all like? Always looking for a chance to stir up trouble? Leo did the same thing, always putting me down while pretending he just wanted what was best for Sophia. And only a fool like Sophia couldn't see right through it. Don't worry, I said. I know what's going on. Chloe glanced at my face. Okay. For the next few days, Sophia started showing up at my office every day after work, and Chloe kept asking me out. I had just been assigned to a new project and was completely swamped, so I turned them both down. Sophia started to look more and more worn out. She even started waiting outside my apartment building. I'd see her standing down there, sigh, and then just ignore her and go inside. I was surprised at how cold I could be. Once I had decided it was over, it was really over. I used to think that if she ever broke up with me, I'd be a complete wreck, that I wouldn't be able to go on. Turns out I'm not that person at all. Chloe was much more understanding. Once she knew I was busy, she stopped calling and just left me messages on iMessage, adding thoughtfully, "Ethan, just text back whenever you have a free minute. No rush." It was a refreshing change. Compared to Sophia's constant pestering, Chloe was so much more considerate. She might be manipulative, but she was good at it. I realized then that I didn't hate manipulative people. I just hated the ones who used their powers against me. If Leo had been on my side, using his tricks to help me, I probably wouldn't have hated him either. Thinking about it that way, a lot of my old resentment started to fade. A couple of days later, Sophia showed up at my office during work hours. She walked right up to my desk in front of all my coworkers, holding a fancy gift box. "Ethan," she said, "this is a new birthday present for you. I spent days picking it out. I hope you like it." She opened the box for everyone to see. Inside was an exquisite watch with a diamond-studded face. My coworkers gasped, "Wow, that's beautiful." They started giving me knowing looks and winks. I don't like to discuss my personal life at work, so most of them had no idea that Sophia and I had broken up. Sophia looked at me expectantly. "Ethan, do you like it?" For a second, I was transported back to my birthday, when she had given me another watch, one that Leo had picked out. I remembered how I had confronted her about it, and how she had seen nothing wrong with it. And now here she was, with another watch, trying to make up for it. I snapped out of my daze. In front of all my curious coworkers, I said politely, "Sophia, my birthday was weeks ago. It's a little late for a present." Sophia looked stunned. "Ethan," I continued, "actually, you already gave me a watch on my birthday. You were in a hurry to leave with Leo, and I left soon after. I think we left the gift at the restaurant. I wonder if it's still there." I looked up the number for the celestial room and called. A familiar voice answered, the same waiter from that night. "Good afternoon, the celestial room. Are you calling to make a reservation?" "No," I said. "I was just wondering if you happened to find a gift box that was left behind a few weeks ago. It had a watch in it." "And you are, sir?" the waiter asked. "I had a reservation on the 19th, in one of the private rooms. My ex-girlfriend left without paying, and you had to stop me on my way out to settle the bill. Do you remember?" At the mention of this, Sophia's face went pale. "Ah, yes, I remember now," the waiter said. "So, did you find the watch?" I asked. "Yes, sir, we have it here." I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "Thank you. I'll come by to pick it up soon." After hanging up, I turned to Sophia. "I'll go to the restaurant tonight to pick up the watch and return it to you." "No, don't." Sophia shook her head frantically, her voice filled with shame and regret. "I'm so sorry. I was in such a rush. I didn't mean to just leave you there like that. I'm so sorry." I just smiled. "It's fine. I understand. Your precious Leo was practically on his deathbed with a fever. Of course you had to rush off to save him and leave me behind. It's perfectly understandable. And I was happy to pay for my own birthday dinner. In fact, spending that money to finally understand where I stood with you was worth every penny. As for this watch," I said, gesturing to the box in her hand, "my birthday is over. It's meaningless now. We're broken up. You should save your gifts for Leo." Sophia's eyes were welling up with tears. "Ethan, I'm so sorry." Her face was a mask of regret and sadness, and she kept repeating how sorry she was. I shook my head. "Don't worry about it. I actually got the best birthday present ever that night." I pulled out the Patek Philippe Chloe had given me. "See? I already have a watch. I don't need another one." When she saw the watch, Sophia's jaw dropped and she stood there, completely frozen. "You should go," I said. "People are trying to work." I sat back down at my desk and went back to what I was doing. My coworkers exchanged confused glances. Too embarrassed to stay any longer, Sophia closed the gift box and left. After she was gone, my coworker leaned over. "Ethan, did you guys break up?" "Yeah," I said. He pointed at the watch Chloe had given me. "Wow, who gave you that? Is that the new Patek Philippe Celestial?" I froze. "The what?" My coworker looked surprised. "You don't know?" He pulled up a web page on his monitor. "Look." I glanced at the screen. The watch in the picture was identical to the one I was wearing. Then I saw the price. I sucked in a sharp breath. There was no way. $521,000? After work, I rushed to the nearest Patek Philippe boutique. The sales associate confirmed it was authentic. I stood there, holding the watch, my mind reeling. Just then, I got a text from Chloe. "Ethan, I went back to our old neighborhood today. Look, it's the tree from the courtyard." The message included a picture of a tall magnolia tree. The image unlocked a flood of old memories. I first met Chloe during my freshman year of high school. My parents told me her family had gone bankrupt and had been forced to move out of their mansion and into a rental in our apartment complex. It was a sunny day, and the magnolia tree was in full bloom. I was rushing downstairs, eating a piece of toast, when I saw her for the first time, a beautiful girl standing under the tree who looked just like a porcelain doll. Her expression was blank, and her blue eyes were like cold, lifeless sapphires. I glanced at her once and then kept walking. That was the first time I ever saw Chloe Anderson. She moved into the apartment next to ours, and for a long time we barely interacted, just occasionally passing in the hall. That changed one day when I came home and saw a group of angry-looking men banging on her family's door, demanding money. I happened to glance up and saw Chloe hiding on the landing above, peering down nervously. I felt bad for her, so I quietly motioned for her to come into my family's apartment. After that, her parents came over to thank us, and from then on, whenever they had trouble, they would send Chloe over to our place to stay. She was always very quiet and well-behaved, and seemed a bit withdrawn. I was busy with school, so I didn't talk to her much. I would just clear a space for her and let her do her own thing. 3 years went by like that. Then, I heard rumors that her family had resolved their debts and gotten their company back, and that they were going to move back to their mansion. Chloe finally started to open up and smile. She became much friendlier, following me around and calling me her big brother. Not long after that, her parents were killed in a car accident. A horde of relatives descended, fighting like vultures over the inheritance. I found Chloe crying in the hallway again, looking utterly lost. So I brought her into our apartment again. I was studying for my SATs at the time and didn't have much time for her, so I just let her hang out. After graduation, her stern grandfather came and took her away. By the time I was in college, she told me she was moving abroad. I ran my thumb over the crystal of the watch and sent Chloe a text. "Why would you give me such an expensive watch?" Her reply came back instantly. "It wasn't expensive." Me, "It's over $500,000. How is that not expensive?" Chloe, "It's not. I just thought it would look good on you, Ethan. Don't you like it?" I didn't know what to say. I had always known her family was wealthy, but I never imagined they were a $500,000 watch isn't expensive wealthy. I called her. "Let's get dinner." She happily agreed. After we ate, I tried to give the watch back to her. "This is too much. I can't accept it." Chloe just stared at me. "You don't like it, Ethan?" Her gaze made me feel strangely guilty. "No, it's not that," I explained. "I just can't accept such an expensive gift. It wouldn't be right." After I insisted several more times, Chloe finally took the watch back. I let out a sigh of relief. Then she stood up, walked to the window, and threw the watch out. She turned back to me with a smile. "If you don't like it, we'll just throw it away. I'll buy you a new one, Ethan." I shot out of my chair and ran downstairs as fast as I could. Chloe had picked the restaurant, a quiet place halfway up a mountain. There was no one around below, and I quickly found the watch lying in a clearing. The crystal was shattered. Oh my God, $500,000. That was $500,000. I felt sick to my stomach, like I couldn't breathe. I wanted to scream. Chloe strolled over, her hands in her pockets. "What's wrong, Ethan?" I stamped my foot in frustration. "How could you just throw it away? It's broken." She just smiled sweetly. "You didn't like it, Ethan, and I didn't want to give it to anyone else. So I just got rid of it. Problem solved." Her casual tone and the bright, unwavering look in her eyes sent a shiver down my spine. I swallowed hard. "Actually, I do like it. I just thought it was too expensive." "Seriously? You like it?" "Yes, I do." Chloe suddenly pressed herself against me, wrapping her arms around my waist. She whispered in my ear, her voice a low purr. "It's all my fault. I broke the watch you liked. I'm so sorry." My body went rigid, and my mind went completely blank. Why was she hugging me? "Ethan," Chloe murmured. My belt came undone. I looked down and saw that the sash of her coat was hanging loose. She was pressed against me, and I could feel the warmth of her body. I put my arms around her slim waist to tie the sash for her. A cool breeze blew past, but I suddenly felt very warm. "There, it's tied." I let go of her and stood up straight. I heard her say cheerfully, "Let's go back up." For some reason, I found I couldn't say no to her. We went back upstairs and sat down. Chloe smiled and put more food on my plate, and suddenly I felt like I could talk to her normally again. After dinner, I went home. I got ready for bed in a complete daze. Sometime in the night, in that state between sleep and waking, I dreamed of that moment when I had my arms around Chloe's waist. But in the dream, I wasn't tying her sash. I was untying it. I was taking off her coat, and then I woke up with a jolt. It was already morning. I sat there for a moment, then slowly covered my face with my hands. Oh no, I was having dreams about Chloe. I dragged myself out of bed. When I looked in the bathroom mirror, a frustrated, wanting face stared back at me. I quickly Googled some meditation exercises and managed to calm myself down. During my lunch break, I went to the celestial room to pick up the old watch, then went to Sophia's office building to give it back to her. She chased me out into the hall. Ethan, I ignored her and got on the elevator. Sophia managed to squeeze in just before the doors closed. Ethan, I told Leo it's over between us. We're not going to see each other anymore. That has nothing to do with me, I said. And please, stop coming to my office. I hate dealing with personal drama at work. She followed me all the way back to my desk. I finally lost my temper. Why are you so clueless? Chloe never bothers me at work, but you just won't leave me alone. Why can't you be more like her? Sophia froze, her lips trembling and her eyes turning red. I suddenly remembered all the times she had called me immature, comparing me unfavorably to Leo. Thinking of that, I didn't feel the slightest bit of guilt. I looked down at my desk and saw a familiar-looking box sitting there. I opened it. It was another Patek Philippe. I jumped. Who left this here? My coworker leaned over. Ethan, some gorgeous woman dropped that off for you. Said you left it at her place last night and she wanted to make sure you got it back. He gave me a wink. She was stunning, man. Prettier than a movie star. You must have had a good night. My face flushed with embarrassment. It wasn't like that. It had to have been Chloe. She had actually bought me another one. Sophia completely lost it. She grabbed my shirt. It was Chloe, wasn't it? Did you sleep with her last night? Did you? She was shaking me so hard I felt dizzy. Just as I was about to answer, someone shoved Sophia away from me. Are you okay? Chloe asked, steadying me. I'm fine, I said, straightening up. What is this? I asked, gesturing to the watch. Chloe smiled. You said you liked it. I broke the other one, so of course I had to replace it. I was speechless. That was $500,000, not $50. No, wait, now it was over $1 million in watches. I worked my ass off to make 20 grand a month. I wanted to give it back, but I was afraid she'd have another fit and destroy this one too, so I hesitated. Sophia stood up straight and glared at Chloe. You homewrecker. How dare you steal my boyfriend? Chloe just blinked innocently. Oh, Sophia, don't get the wrong idea. Even though Ethan and I were together all night and did everything one could possibly do, I assure you we're completely innocent. Sophia looked like she was about to explode again and lunged forward. My head was pounding. Enough, I yelled. Get out. Both of you, get out. I practically shoved them both out of my cubicle area. After they were gone, my co-workers swarmed my desk, giving me thumbs-ups. Ethan, my man, 2 gorgeous women fighting over you. You're living the dream. I've never seen anything like it, another one said. Sophia is hot, but that other girl is on another level. Did you get tired of Sophia and decide to trade up for a younger model? Their jokes got more and more ridiculous and crude. My face was burning. It's not like that. Chloe is like a sister to me. My coworker scoffed. A sister who gives you a Patek Philippe Celestial? Yeah, right. Some kind of sister. I ignored him, quickly stuffing the watch into my bag, my thoughts a complete jumble. For the rest of the week, I blocked Sophia's number and ignored Chloe's texts, throwing myself completely into finishing my project. That Friday, my company's parent corporation, Apex Holdings, was hosting a charity gala. My boss was invited and decided to bring a few of his team members along. Thanks to my performance on the recent project, I was one of the lucky ones. The ballroom was glittering with chandeliers and filled with people in tuxedos and evening gowns. This kind of event was way out of my league. My coworker and I found the buffet table and started loading up our plates. Halfway through my second plate, my coworker nudged me. Hey, look, it's your sister. I looked up and immediately spotted Chloe across the room. She was wearing a sleek evening gown and elegant jewelry, her bare shoulders pale and lovely. She stood out from the crowd like a swan among pigeons. She saw me and started walking towards me with a smile. Then I noticed Sophia and Leo nearby, both in formal attire, engaged in some kind of low-key argument. Sophia's face was grim, while Leo was talking to her earnestly, a pleading expression on his face. Sophia seemed to get fed up because she pulled her arm away from him and turned her head. That's when she saw me. Her eyes lit up and she started walking towards me too. I had a bad feeling about this. I quickly swallowed the mini cheesecake I was eating and tried to slip away. My coworker looked confused. Hey, Ethan, where are you going? I didn't answer, just made a break for a nearby hallway. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see both Chloe and Sophia following me. Ethan, I took a deep breath, stopped, and turned around with a forced smile. Good evening. Surely they wouldn't make a scene at a formal event like this. I smiled. What a coincidence seeing you two here. Chloe came to my side. Ethan, come with me. Sophia shot back, "He's with me." The two of them glared at each other, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. My headache was coming back. Just then, Leo caught up, rushing to Sophia's side. "Soph, wait up." He shot me a look, his eyes flashing with resentment. Suddenly, his foot slipped, and he cried out as he stumbled towards Sophia. She instinctively reached out to catch him. Leo wrapped his arm around her waist and said softly, "The floor is so slippery. Thanks, sophomore." As he said it, he shot me a smug smile. I frowned. I was so sick of his manipulative games. Chloe glanced at me, then tugged on my hand. "Ethan, let's go." I turned to leave, and suddenly, Chloe's foot slipped. She fell against me, her arms wrapping around my waist to steady herself. Sophia lost it. She shoved Leo aside and ran towards us. "Get your hands off him." Leo, caught off guard, went sprawling to the floor with a loud thud. I winced. That had to have hurt. Chloe quickly let go of me. "I'm so sorry, I slipped." I tried to keep my voice even. "It's fine." Sophia, completely enraged, swung a punch at Chloe. "I'm going to kill you. Get away from him." Chloe ducked behind me. "Ethan, look at her. She's so aggressive." I don't know what it was about that sentence, but it sent Sophia over the edge. Her eyes went wild, and she lunged at Chloe again. "You manipulative bitch. I've had enough of you." Chloe didn't fight back and took a blow to the chest. A wave of fury washed over me, and I shoved Sophia back, hard. "Get away from her." Sophia stumbled back, her eyes wide with disbelief, tears welling up. "Ethan, how could you? You're taking her side? Don't you love me anymore?" I exploded. "Love you? Are you kidding me?" For a split second, I saw a flash of triumph on Chloe's face before she quickly hid it, clutching her chest. "It hurts," she whimpered. My heart went out to her. I rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" Chloe just whimpered. "It hurts so much." I helped her up, then turned to Sophia. "Can you stop being so crazy? We broke up. Leave me alone. If you ever bother me or Chloe again, I swear, you'll regret it." Sophia just stood there, looking like her world was falling apart. Beside me, Chloe suddenly asked, "You two already broke up?" I nodded. "Yeah, a while ago. Are you okay? We should get you to a doctor." Chloe immediately stood up straight, all traces of weakness gone. "Humph. In that case, why am I holding back?" She shot out like a leopard, grabbing Sophia and immediately started pulling her hair and scratching at her arms. I just stood there, completely dumbfounded. The fight made all four of us the talk of the town. It was only later that I found out the truth. Chloe was the granddaughter of the chairman of Apex Holdings. Years ago, her parents had a falling out with her grandfather and struck out on their own, eventually going bankrupt. They had no choice but to go back to him for help, and he bailed them out. But just as they were about to reconcile and move back in with him, they were both killed in a car accident. The relatives who had fought over the inheritance were from her mother's side of the family. Her father's relatives were also wary of her. In the end, her grandfather sent her abroad to get her away from it all. Her grandfather's family was large and complicated, and he was always busy with work. He didn't pay much attention to her, just sent her money every month and left her to fend for herself. Chloe had a very difficult few years. After the fight, she insisted I take her to the hospital. She took my hand and said, "Ethan, since you're single now, will you be with me?" My mind was a complete mess. I didn't know what to say. Suddenly, Chloe's voice turned cold. "Stop the car." The driver pulled over, and Chloe jumped out and started walking away. I ran after her. "What are you doing?" She was limping, wiping tears from her eyes. "If you don't want me, Ethan, then I might as well be dead." My head was throbbing. I caught up to her. "Don't be like that. Come on, let's get you to the hospital." She refused to move. "No, let's go, Chloe. Stop this." "No." She turned to face me, her eyes red. "Ethan, if I can't be with you, then there's no point in living." I just stood there, completely stunned, not knowing what to do. The cool night air felt sharp and painful. She walked back to me, her head bowed, sobbing softly. "I know you don't like me, Ethan. It's okay. I'll go to the hospital. I won't make things difficult for you." She reached up and gently touched my cheek. "I'm sorry for worrying you. I won't be so selfish again. I hope you can forgive me." I let out a deep sigh and took her hand in mine. "How could I ever be mad at you?" Chloe gave me a brave little smile and limped back towards the car. "I know you still have feelings for Sophia, Ethan. It was wrong of me. I won't cause trouble like this again. I'll just keep my feelings to myself. It's all my fault. I never should have confessed like that." I shook my head in resignation. The manipulative act was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I knew she was playing me, but damn it, it was working. In that moment, I finally understood Sophia. This kind of manipulation really was hard to resist. I rubbed my temples. Sophia and I are over. There's nothing between us anymore. If we're going to be together, I don't want you to mention her again. Chloe's head snapped up. Ethan, what are you saying? I smiled and sat down beside her in the car. I'm saying I want to be with you. Her eyes lit up like stars, and she grabbed my hand tightly. Really? You want to be with me? I nodded. Yes. I knew she was manipulative, that she was playing on my sympathy, but I was walking into the trap with my eyes wide open. What else was I going to do? I was already hooked. Let's just try it for a while, I said. If it doesn't work out, we can go our separate ways. Chloe threw her arms around me, and I was enveloped in her sweet scent. Ethan, we're never going to break up. I smiled and patted her on the back. Okay, we won't break up. My experience with Sophia had taught me that love was complicated and painful. I was single now, and I liked Chloe, so why not give it a shot? If it worked out, great. If not, we'd go our separate ways. After the charity gala, Sophia and Leo had a major falling out. I heard Leo went to Sophia's office and had a huge fight with her, and then he left Chicago for good. Between the fight at the gala and Leo causing a scene at her work, which apparently also involved some kind of corporate espionage, Sophia was asked to resign. I never saw her again. She came by my office on her last day, but I wouldn't see her. A coworker passed on a message from her. She said she's sorry, Ethan, and she hopes you'll be happy. I heard the words, but I felt nothing. My 2-year relationship with Sophia had ended, not with a bang, but with a whimper. I had been hurt, I had struggled, but I had finally moved on. I had found peace and a new girlfriend. Things were good now. I didn't think about Sophia anymore. I thought Chloe and I would have a brief, intense fling and then break up. But a year later, we were still together. I had assumed that her wealthy family would object to her dating someone like me, but no one seemed to care at all. Her grandfather let her do whatever she wanted. Her other relatives were actually happy she was with someone without power or influence, so they were all for our relationship. I had imagined a scene straight out of a movie, where someone would throw a check for $10 million at me, telling me I wasn't good enough for Chloe and to get lost. But that stroke of luck never happened. We dated for a year, and no one batted an eye. I got the feeling we could get married at City Hall, and no one in her family would even notice. In our entire time together, we never had a single fight about jealousy. In the stories, there's always some rival who shows up to try and steal the girl. And a woman as beautiful and wealthy as Chloe should have had guys lining up around the block. But in the entire year we were together, nothing like that ever happened. It was surprisingly smooth and peaceful. I was a little confused by it. It was only later that I found out that if any guy so much as looked at her twice, Chloe would shut them down immediately, telling them she was madly in love with her boyfriend and that they didn't stand a chance. She was a fortress, completely impenetrable. Learning this, I felt a complicated mix of emotions. I thought back to my relationship with Sophia. If she had just been as firm with Leo as Chloe was with other guys, if she had just shut him down completely from the very beginning, he probably would have moved on. A guy like him didn't need to be a homewrecker. Sophia must have given him hope, which is why he kept pushing. Being with Chloe made me realize that the problem had always been Sophia. When you're with the right person, you don't have to spend all your time worrying and feeling insecure. Before you even have a chance to feel jealous, she's already handled the situation and made it clear to the other guy that it's never going to happen. This past year, I finally learned what a normal relationship feels like. I felt happy, secure, and at ease. After the holidays, Chloe pulled out a ring box. She opened it and asked me, her voice trembling slightly, if I would consider proposing to her. I was surprised, then excited, and then hesitant. Chloe was amazing in so many ways, and I loved being with her. But she was also incredibly possessive and clingy, and she had a tendency to go to extremes. Like when I tried to return the watch, and she threw $500,000 out a window. Or when I initially rejected her, and she refused to go to the hospital even though she was hurt. She could be very intense. To be honest, that side of her scared me a little. Chloe held out her hand, the ring sparkling in the box. She looked up at me with wide, pleading puppy dog eyes. Ethan, will you marry me? I didn't answer. She started to pout. Ethan, I want to be with you forever. Please marry me. Please. She was so beautiful, and she was using that same sweet, manipulative act on me again, looking so pitiful and vulnerable that it was impossible to resist, and I was a total sucker for it. In the end, I gave a small nod, took the ring from the box, and slid it onto her finger. I have absolutely no defense against her games, especially not when it's Chloe playing them.